Hi, welcome to C3 Stingray. It's been a while since I've done a video, but today I'm taking the evaporator on my 1991 Corvette, and I thought it'd be a good chance to show everyone how to take an evaporator out of C4 Corvette. Now, I've had this car for like a year and a half. The AC has never worked. I had to replace the evaporator. I put an aftermarket evaporator in because I thought I'd put a brand new one in, and of course I take the whole thing apart, put it in, and find out that the lines, the threads will not work on this aftermarket one. Plus this position of the sensor. Here's the used one I'm going to put in that I got from C3 Stingray, so I know it'll work. And see the position of the sensor on the early models, I mean, you put your antifreeze in where the radiator is. On the later models, you put it in up by where this evaporator comes out. So this position of the sensor matters then, because it will run into things. If the older ones will run into stuff off the newer ones. So you need to check that out before you put it in. Don't do like I did and stick it in and then realize, whoops, this isn't going to work. I had to take it out and send it back. Aftermarket's a 50-50. You never know what you're going to get. And I've put in so many aftermarket starters that never work. I don't know. It's a pain. It's funny that I can get stuff from really old cars that's been in old cars forever and put them in, and they'll keep working. Anyway, if you ever need use C4, C3 parts, go to c3stingray.com. So let's start working. This is where the evaporator comes out. As you can see, the sensor I was talking about is pointed in that direction. The old ones, it's pointing the opposite direction. It runs into the radiator surge tank. So it's hard to use that. You want to get the right evaporator for yours. As you can see, I've already got the AC lines off of this. You're going to need to take the front passenger wheel off, and then you're going to have to remove this inner fender. There's a couple of T27 Torx, some T10 Torx, and some 10mm bolts. Don't forget about the one underneath the car. There's two 7mm bolts holding the surge tank on. And once you get that off, you'll have to remove the hoses. You need to make sure you drain all the antifreeze before you pull any hoses off, or you're going to have a big mess. You have to take the bolts out of the top of this support bar and then follow it down. There's 3 bolts on the frame itself, 2 on top, 1 on the side. The 2 on the top are pretty easy to get to with an extension. You can get to them from the top. The 1 on the side is a pill. As you can see in this freeze frame, the bolt's out in this shot, but you can see where it was. I ended up taking a ratchet wrench. I duct taped it to a screwdriver and used that to get it out. Hillbilly ingenuity there. But I did get it out. Now we're taking the bolts and nuts off the housing itself. It goes completely around. There are 3 nuts and 5 bolts altogether. There's a shot of the farthest one in the farthest corner underneath. You could get to it from the front though, so that wasn't too bad. You do have to get underneath to get one of the nuts off, because you just cannot get it from the top or the front. Be sure to unplug all your plugs and your hoses. There's only one hose I think you need to unplug besides the radiator. Once you have all this off, you're almost there. As you can see, I got the bolts out. I still have 2 nuts left. There's a top nut there, and there's one more underneath there that you have to get from underneath. As I said, there's 5 bolts, 3 nuts. And now it should be ready to pry out. It might just pop right off. You might have to take a screwdriver or something, give it a little pry, but it should come out pretty easy. Okay, we got her out. All I had to do to get the evaporator out is just take these tins out all the way around, pry this apart, pull that old evaporator out, put the new one in, put it back together, and then just do the reverse of what we just did to get this out of here. Make sure, you know, when you put everything back, you gotta put your antifreeze in and kind of burp the system, get all the air out, and make sure you get all your connections. And while you're at it, I mean, you got your AC lines off, just go to the parts store or wherever and get some brand new O-rings. I mean, they don't cost like $7 for a bag of them. And you can replace all your O-rings while you got everything apart because you don't want any leaks. And also make sure you replace this orifice tube, this thing, because this, well, it's always clogged up, especially if you got an old used evaporator. You want to replace that. And the old ones that are in there, they're going to be stuck in there. If they've been in there for a while, they're always stuck. And every time I've tried to yank one out, I mean, it's got these little knobs on there you're supposed to grab and yank them out with, but it hardly ever works. They always rip in half. I found if you take a propane torch or just, you know, and just heat it up a little bit and then pull on it, they'll pop right out. It loosens them up and it pops them right out. Save you a little time and money trying. Once they break, they're a bear to get out of there. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you like this video. Go check out my website at c3stingray.com for used parts. And follow us on Facebook. And subscribe to this channel. And I'm hoping to put up a lot of videos this summer, so keep in tune, because we got a lot of projects here. All right. Thank you. Bye.